Hello, my name is Douglas Cartwright. I'm an NLP trainer and a metastates coach, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about identity development. Now, there is going to be a version of what I talk about available on the internet. You can find it at livingwords.net/articles.html under the title Identity Development Toolkit. But I wanted to give you the basics here so that you'll have something to think about. Now, the point I'm starting with is the idea of identity. Now, if you've been studying NLP for a while, you will have heard of something called identification. This is when somebody says, I am a success, or I am a failure. And of course, if you were to break that down and make it into a mathematical formula, what essentially you'd get is I equal success. I am is a form of the to be verb. I am, I equal. And what this does is it makes every single part of a person's identity, or at least in their mind, equal to the concept. So I am a failure is a huge generalization that can affect every area of their life. Now, something else that people sometimes say, which is what I want to talk about today, is I am, or I'm not that kind of person, or I'm not the kind of person who, or even I'm not. So say, for example, you want to build your wealth, but because of experiences you had at school, perhaps because of your parents not taking Parenting 101, they didn't teach you an awful lot about money. Perhaps you've not been that good with your usage of money. And when somebody talks to you about studying Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or some kind of step-up financial training, you say, you know what, I'm not really financially minded, I'm not that kind of person, or I'm not the kind of person who really does well with facts and figures. Now, what I want to do is challenge that. What does it mean when you say, I'm not that kind of person? Well, what does it mean to be of a kind? In fact, the word comes from kin, and kin refers to family, and family often have very similar characteristics. So, are you in fact saying, I don't consider myself to belong to the group of people who think in financially beneficial ways? I don't have their thought patterns, I don't have their beliefs, I don't have the kind of strategies they use. Now, saying I don't think the way they think is a very different thing from saying I'm not that kind of person, I'm not one of them. Because I'm not that kind of person is an identity statement, it's an I am. It creates a kind of concreteness where I am a man and I am not a woman, and I'm not going to change to a woman either. But it's that kind of concreteness of language that it gives. But what you can think about is whether it be easier to ask yourself, could I learn to think like those people without having to become one of their kind? Because certainly it's easier to learn the beliefs and strategies of people who think in a financially minded way and then benefit financially and improve their wealth. You can learn to do that, can't you? You can learn to think like them. You can learn to use their strategies, and that's a heck of a lot easier than having to become the kind of person who is financially minded. Now, you may be saying it's just semantics. Well, yes, it is. But I'm a studier of neurosemantics, and I can tell you, if you didn't know already, that your words have an incredibly powerful effect on what you perceive as reality. So that's a kind of wrap up for today. Are you a particular kind of person? If not, could you learn to think like the groups of people who do what you do? If you could, go do it. Go find a book, read some principles, interview someone you know, and ask them, what do you think about this? How do you think about this? And go off and start getting some of the results they get. Now, as I said, you can get a copy of this pattern at livingwords.net/articles.html, and please go and enjoy it. If you're really interested in new and original NLP patterns, you can also go to livingwords.net/products.html, where you'll find the NLP Users Toolkit, a collection of 6 original NLP patterns that I've written They've been tested around the world. They're not infallible, but no NLP pattern is. But they're only $6.99, and you can get an immediate download and really add some interesting extra tools to your repertoire. Thanks for your time.